Alrighty, let's get it. Oh. Hi everybody, what's up? It's your girl Do, back here with another video. Today we're going to talk about how to decide on a university that you would want to go to. I know that the current job market has made university education somewhat of a must, but don't feel pressured to go to university if it's something that you don't want or if you have other things in mind. Needless to say, university is really cool. You get to learn a lot of stuff. You get to really delve deeper into a topic. I'm gonna give you guys tips, but also give you my experience and how I've actually used these tips in real life to choose the university that I wanted to pursue for my master's degree. So yeah, for the majority of people who have clicked on this video, probably you're thinking about going to university or you are planning to go to university in the near future, and you probably want some help on how to choose the university that you want to go to, because there are a ton of universities out there and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming with all of the choices, a lot of the places, all of the different programs. It's hard to narrow down to something that you would actually like and something that you would see yourself have a really great time, because studying shouldn't be something that you loathe or something that you really just can't stand going to. It should be something that motivates you, something that inspires you and gets you out of your comfort zone. And it opens up a lot of doors for your future career. Now, before I get to the first tip, I'd just like to say that you need to be ready to plan, and you need to be okay with planning and taking notes and taking quite some time to research all of your options. This is not something that you just say, oh, let's just eeny, meeny, miny, mo off a list and I'll go there. You need to be ready to plan, and you need to be really patient with planning, because for you to have a clear picture of the opportunities and the advantages that are available to you, you need to be able to put them down either on paper or notebook, laptop, wherever. You have to be ready to take notes and probably make some spreadsheets. We're going to be looking at a broader perspective and slowly narrowing it down to things that are going to help you in the future. So without further ado, I'd like to give my first tip. You need to choose or somewhat choose the country or countries that you plan on studying in. If it's the country where you live, that's great. First point, check. If it's somewhere where you want to go abroad, just like I did, you need to choose some countries. And even if it's like a large list of countries and you don't know exactly how you want to go there, why you want to go there, it's just an idea in your head, definitely just make a list of all of the countries that you would want to go to. If it's one country, just put it on the list. In my case, I had Germany. Some things that you need to consider when choosing a place you want to go to study in are if the country or the city has something interesting to offer for you. Don't just go to some city because it's interesting, because it's cool. Don't just choose a country because that's where your friends are going. It should be something that really interests you and something that you would have no problem dedicating a few years or a year if it's just a master's degree, because you will be spending at least 1 year in the country that you will be studying. If it's a bachelor's degree, you'd be studying 3 to 4 years. Master's, 1 to 2, and then it goes on. And potentially, if you plan on living abroad, that country where you've actually studied in could be your permanent home. It's not anymore just choosing a place right off your head. It has to be something that you would be willing to connect to and something that you would be willing to work on integrating in and be open to the lifestyle, culture, and all of that. So it's really important that you choose a place that you really like. And if you want to go just a little bit deeper into this, we can call it like a 1A category. You can choose your cities. I really wanted to go to Germany to study, and my top 3 cities were Berlin, Frankfurt, and Munich, but I was still open to looking at other cities as well. Tip 2. Now, after you've selected your countries and cities, you need to check the universities and their programs. Now, this is extremely extensive work and you really need to do a lot of research. I had about 2 to 3 months of research because I was also working and studying at the same time. So it took me about 2 to 3 months to research a lot of the universities in Germany, because since I was extremely open, it did take a while because I wasn't dead set on a city. But in other cases, if you know that you're just going to look at universities in, let's say in my case, in Berlin, or universities in Berlin and Munich, then you kind of know where you're going to and you would only focus on the universities in those 2 cities. Some things to consider when looking at the universities and their programs is, of course, you need to look something that's in your field of study, in your areas of expertise, and especially in your interests. For example, I studied English language and literature as my bachelor's degree, and I am focusing on English literature in my master's degree. So that's something that you guys need to also keep in mind. The best thing is definitely to use Google as much as possible. I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, but it's something that helps you a lot. It helps you find the universities, their websites. You're able to look at student reviews and different websites that sort of rank and talk about different universities. Now, this part is where I would say the most planning takes place. I actually made like a little table on Microsoft Word. You can use Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, you can use Google Docs, whatever you want. Just be ready to plan and take notes of everything. Because when you're looking at it from a further perspective, you need to know every single aspect of all of the universities that you're looking at for you to be able to make a narrower decision in the future. So what I did is I looked at many universities in Germany. I used like a search engine to search all of the programs that were related to English in Germany. So I didn't specify English literature, but I only wrote like the keyword was English in my case. And I looked at all of the degrees offered in almost all of the universities in Germany. And that was really extensive, a long list, which is again why it took me 3 months. That takes me to tip number 3. Note down every single information that is useful in helping you to make a decision. Now, like I said, use spreadsheets or make some sort of table or use like a chart, anything that helps you. I had a table with I think 7 to 8 columns. And the first column was obviously the name of the university. Then I had the city where it was in. Since all the universities were in Germany, I didn't have to make a column for a country because, you know, I would have done it to be honest, but I didn't. And if you've not figured it by now, I'm really big on planning, so yeah. Now, something I would also recommend to put in that little table or chart is the application deadline for each university and the program that you are applying for, because that helps you make a decision faster. Now, it's a little psychological in this place, but if the deadline is closer, you tend to think to either apply faster to that university, hence a sort of inner desire to go more to that university than the others, or it could actually mean that you're not really interested in it and you're leaving it because it's so close to the date you're researching. Now, it can go both ways, but what could also happen is that if the deadline is too close, for example, if you are researching everything in March and the deadline is in April, you might not be able to gather all of your documents and all of your essays and everything in time. It might actually make you wait another year and help you prepare longer for that specific program, which is, again, it's a plus. If it helps you decide what you want to study, you shouldn't put a time limit on it. If it's a university that you really want to go to, you probably have to be willing to work towards it and work towards meeting those criteria demands. I really liked the university in Frankfurt, but since the deadline was way too early and I wasn't able to actually get a few documents issued in time, I had to take that university out of the list. So, and I know you guys are probably bored with all of the information that I'm telling you to put in these little spreadsheets, but they will help you. If you guys are interested, I can definitely make a video on just an example spreadsheet and look up my spreadsheet that I did for universities in Germany and make a video on it and show you guys the process like slowly, one by one. Definitely let me know. Tip number 3. Oh, we did that. Tip number 4. This is a fast one, but you need to highlight, let's say, 4 to 5 universities that you really, really like and you really plan on applying to. Now, this is where the stuff gets a little easier because after all of the research, after all of the extensive reading that you've done till now, there probably has to be a few that you really like. These are just like your top choices. I would say highlight. If you have a table or a chart or whatever, just highlight 3 to 5. If it's less than 3, highlight 1 or 2. If it's less than 5, highlight 3. And tip number 5, the last tip, is to take a break. Now I know with deadlines and when you're all fired up and when you've done so much research, waiting for this epiphany where you really know the program you're studying, where it hits you which one you want. While I don't deny that that can happen, I think it rarely does, because personally I have never seen anyone who has chosen a university just off the bat. So after all of this research, take a break. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks. Maybe I wouldn't recommend 2 weeks. I would recommend like a week to 10 days max. Just take something where you can think without looking at notes. You already know what you've researched. You already know the universities you're thinking of applying to. Go on a little getaway for like a day or two, or do something that helps you clear your mind, so when you get back to these notes, you are not overworked because you're gonna be with all of the research you should be doing. And that's how you would look at everything with a fresh eye, and you'll see if a choice could feel better. And for like one last bonus tip, if you have more than 5 universities, I would recommend to applying to at least 4. I wouldn't recommend going like above 10 because that's just way too much. But the magic number is always around 3 to 4 universities that you really want to go to, because chances are it's higher to get accepted to the universities you really like, because you will be willing to work towards meeting that minimal criteria and those requirements. Some universities might require you to write a motivational essay. So how are you going to write a motivational essay for more than 5 universities that you want to go to? It's you can do it, it's not undoable, but it's really hard, because how can you write 5 essays at the same time about different universities that offer different things? It's a bit hard, it's draining, and to be honest, it's unnecessary. And if you get accepted to all of the universities you apply to, that's great, but I think you kind of know which one you would rather go to. Alright, awesome people, that's it for this video. Hope you learned something today. I also hope you guys feel a little bit more ready to plan and apply for the universities that you really want to. I wish you guys the best of success. If there's some other tips that you really want to see regarding studies or even studying in Germany, definitely let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye!